Oh, hi. You wasn't kidding when you said we were about to start. Hello,
Let's
ladies and
get straight
gentlemen.
into it.
And we're going to just jump right into it. But welcome to
Right.
another review on Moon Knight episode 4. You know
Wind
the
down.
drill. And it's a wind down. So you guys got to have your beverages. And let's
Mm-hmm.
get ready to talk about some Moon Knight. I do want to say episode 4, if I can just say off rip. Quite the wild one.
Yes. I think
Quite
it
the
was
wild
the
one.
most adventurous of the ones we got so far, giving
I,
very
I
much Indiana Jones.
yeah, I was about to say that. It really, really was like Indiana Jones on this one. It was very interesting. Um, it was yeah, made me feel like getting taking a trip and riding on a camel, going to see the pyramids.
Very true, very true. So if you're
I'm not
watching,
taking no
leave us a
camels,
like,
though.
drink your alcohol. I'm going to take a drink. I don't know what you guys are drinking, but I'm drinking something a little strong, so we're going to sip it.
Oh, here we go.
So the episode opens up pretty much right smack dab after the last episode ends. So Kachu, it has been, transported.
He's been prayed to jail.
Yeah, he's been in jail. He's in
I
jail.
like those are could choose stuff.
And we're still in the desert with Steven and Layla, right? So Steven's passed out. Layla's trying to get him together. She's like, hey, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. They managed to get into like some car, I believe, and try to make their escape. But as they're like driving, they're discussing, hey, they're trying to follow the coordinates that they found in the last episode, the end of the last episode, right? And pretty much during the drive, Steven, oh wait, no, before that.
Let's talk about that. You talk about Layla's moment. Let's talk about Layla. Layla
Oh,
for a moment because she was trying to revive. Um, no, Steven. Steven
uh-huh.
couldn't get up. He was still winded, still passed out from the stars and everything like that. And these guys who obviously are with Arthur are trying to hunt him down, kill him.
Yes.
But I did like this scene. I wanted to say because it just showed how much Layla is not a lady in distress. She can take care of herself. She was out witnessing these guys, and I do want to say throughout this whole entire episode, she had a shitload of these little fire sticks. Like it seemed like every time she just pulled it, it was like some tune force. Like the only thing missing was she pulled it out her pocket and stuff like that. But was able to get these guys and trick them and fool them and blow them up to which Mark is up. I keep saying Mark. Steven, he gets
Uh-huh.
up and he's like blown away. Not like the guys who got really blown away, but blown away by her ability to take care of herself.
Yeah, by her genius. Yeah, so she does pull out these what not dynamite sticks, but they're like distress signal sticks.
There we go.
Yeah, they were able to
Where?
like, get the better of the bad guys who tried to like turn around and shoot them up. They get away, and that's when they're in the Jeep. And
Is that a
Steven,
Jeep? I thought a Jeep
yeah,
goes.
that's the Jeep, you're in the Jeep going over the sand dunes.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're having like this discussion,
Moment.
and Steven is telling Layla, talking about him and Mark had an agreement that if we can get this done, that he'll leave permanently and pretty much let Steven have control of the body. And Mark is in the rearview mirror looking at him like, look, this wasn't part of the deal. He's the point was to get like away from Khonshu or whatever.
Right.
So pretty much Layla's upset because she's like, oh, you guys just made this decision without me. You're going to let my husband leave me. And this is what Steven pointed out. Like, look, didn't he already leave you before?
You know what? Good for Steven. Steven was making the moves here.
He was making the
Yes,
move.
he
He was
was.
making the
Yes, he
moves.
was. He was open. He was open to this
He
girl.
was trying his hand.
Yep, he really was. He really was. Unfortunately.
But somebody had to break it down to Layla. Like I said, she's like almost fatal attraction at this point to Mark. It's like, let that man go. But she refuses.
Just let that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
pretty much, yeah, she was like, oh yeah, you're gonna let him leave me. And yeah, he pointed out that he left you already. He already served you the divorce papers, girl. But she really wasn't trying to hear that. But either way,
No.
they get to this camp in the desert, like this abandoned camp. And we get the feeling like, okay, this is the right spot they need to be. Because remember the last episode, Arthur had, all the crew digging, trying to find, Kachu's little burial site. So they go digging through the campsite. I don't know what they're looking for, but I guess they're looking for supplies or whatever.
Who is this we're
And
talking about? Austin?
no, we're talking about
Oh, this is
Steven and
okay.
Leyla.
At this part, this was the part where they knew that Arthur and his crew was going to be there. So they're like, okay, they're going to be there, so we're going to find another way because they can't go the same way these guys are going. So it's pretty much the
Mhm.
same temple, but they
Mhm.
found an alternative entry.
Awesome. That's yeah, I just saw it once, so I'm trying.
That's all right. That's what the teamwork makes the dream work.
Facts.
See, I said it this time. I
So
got it right this time.
it was it was during this whole excursion of the camp that Mark and Steven have like this thing. He's pretty much Mark is telling Steven, like, you want my girl, you want my wife? What's up with
I
that? Why
love
you trying
it.
to put the moves
I
on my wife?
love it. Okay, he sat there. He said this. I like how aggressive Mark was. He said, "Steven, give me the body, like it's his body." They said,
Uh-huh.
"Oh, so you're in love now? You're in love with my wife?" And it reminded me of this scene from I think his Godfather, and he's like, "Hey, are you messing with my wife?" He's like, "What? Are you messing with my wife?" And they're arguing back and forth. It's the
Mhm.
funniest, hilarious, especially funny on YouTube because they put the Flintstones in there. See, Fred Curse makes it work. But
What?
yeah, Fred, I'm gonna send you a clip. It's hilarious if I can find it. But he said, if you touch my wife, he said, yeah, if I need anything, I'll talk to you if I need a milkshake or whatever to get in good shape. And he said, if you touch my wife, I don't know if he said drown or he said, oh, I'll throw us off a cliff.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I'll throw us off a cliff.
I did like that back and forth between them. And even this scene right here, when we get to it, I'll let you continue to take
Yeah,
the floor.
but Steven was a little rebellious. He was like, what you gonna do, pretty much, if I do like your wife?
Yeah. But I also liked about this too was because I know the conversation always is, does Mark even care about his wife? Which it's clear that he does. But right here, you see him getting jealous. He's like, "Yo, you like my wife? Like you want to make the moves on my and in front of me?"
Like, I know there's like, okay, there are people who can be possessive over the girl, but still not even love her like that. So it could be that, but I think it's more leaning towards, he does still have feelings for her, but still, just because he's jealous doesn't mean that he's in love with girls. So I don't want her to get her hopes up because next scene, right? Next scene, um, this is really like touchy feely too because she's helping Steven put on his gear all close to the groin areas and stuff, right?
It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
Like, girl,
Yeah.
really rough with him. And so pretty much he was like, all up in her face like this. They was just real close talking. And Steven decides to tell her, disclose to her that, hey, because she was almost giving him the googly eyes back. She was like, "Ooh, you smell like Mark." Yeah, all of that. So at this point, I'm like, would Steven be okay dating Leyla, knowing that she's fantasizing about Mark whole time? Like, would that be okay?
Yes.
Because that's clearly what's going to happen.
Okay.
Yes. 1,000%. He would be okay with that.
Yeah. It seemed that way because he kept saying when he mentioned something to Mark, he's like, "Oh, I did it before." Because he was talking about the thing about not having the same abilities now that Contra is locked up and everything like that. He said, "Yeah, it's the same body, right?" So I don't think he cares at this rate. He's like,
wait, get to it.
So right as
Let's
she's
stay wide.
adjusting his groin straps, he decides to get like a little bow with it. He's right up on her face like this, like pretty much like talking to her like this, right? And he makes his move. But first he says, Mark is pushing you away because he's trying to protect you from Kachu. Kachu's trying to make you his next avatar, possibly, right? And she was listening, but she wasn't like, she was still kind of blaming Mark. And then I forgot what he said after that. But he leans in for the kiss, and she didn't pull away. She didn't pull away. They got a little smooch.
Chocolate's kiss though. It looked like he was biting her lips and everything.
It looked
first of all,
very awkward.
It looked really aggressive.
Listen. First, she was all into it. As soon as he went for the kiss, the fact that he was all nervous to go take that kiss, and the look that she gave him after
it turned her off.
Yes.
Instantly dry
into the friend zone. That's where she felt the difference. Man, I felt bad for him. I felt so bad for him. When I saw that scene, I was like,
He doesn't have the BDE. He doesn't have the BDE. Doesn't have the confidence.
Does not. That's
Right,
not. Are
right.
you scared to take a kiss? Come on, man.
Yeah,
Listen,
it
you're
was
over
very
there like,
Experience
hey,
this.
listen, I like honesty. Honesty is a you thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Come on,
She
Wow,
bro.
likes
Vic,
that he's
Come
Vic,
honest,
on,
Vic
come
but
on.
she
nailed that.
likes the
What
Good
else could she
job.
have
aggressiveness of
done?
Mark.
She could have played. Maybe she should have twirled her hair a little bit. Come on.
No, or maybe he should have watched a YouTube video on how to kiss first. I mean, like that was bad. That was
He
really,
didn't
really
know
good.
what he was
No, I mean
doing.
it's not that it was bad. It's just that like, yo,
No, it was bad. Like
you coming with
that
certain
reminded me of my eighth grade
you
kiss,
coming with
and that's
scared of
not
looking
good.
stupid. That's the problem. You coming all scared, like you know what I mean. That's you know what I mean.
Tell like it is, Vic.
Like,
Tell about
Yeah,
that,
she like
William.
you and you scared of her liking you. Shoe fly, bro. Goodbye, bro. You go back.
he definitely lacked confidence in the kiss, and Layla was a little bit turned off. Like I said, panties instantly dry after that kiss. It wasn't,
That's awful.
wasn't
Yep.
what she was expecting. Dry as the desert, they're standing.
I love how like at first it might have been wet, and then for whatever reason, it just
Girl,
was dry as a desert. Like after that, it just
Sucks the water right back up.
with the sun that just dried up, just evaporated, all that. That's what is that bit?
What is that?
This is dry flower drying.
Oh my god!
This is flower drying solution to preserve flowers.
That's what was sprinkled in the kiss.
Oh
Exactly.
my god! Oh my god!
Yo, that's so funny.
So
Oh man.
pretty much after he kissed her, she was just like, pulling back, like, all right, let's get back to business,
Yeah.
pretty much, right? Trying to change the subject.
Let's do this. Yeah.
So they make their way into the entrance of like this, hole in
No,
the thing, I
no,
guess like a tomb.
There's a spot. Did you guys catch this spot where he punches himself in the face?
That was a punch? I thought somebody
Yeah,
like went back and
that
hit
was
him.
Yeah, I thought that too. I watched
That
it
was right
twice.
after the kiss.
So after the kiss, when he's looking down, he's wet, and he's looking at
He's ready to go.
yeah, he looked like Leyla go down. He punches himself in the face. So when the first time I saw, I thought something hit him, but then when I looked at the thing, you just see Mark takes control, and it makes all the sense. Mark's just like, yo, you hit you making a move on my girl. It was a really interesting thing. It was a blink. If you blink, you missed it. But I looked. I said, what hit him? I was just curious. And then you see the fist. It's like, oh, that makes sense because that's Mark saying like, yo, stop looking at my girl.
But you know what I find interesting? In the first episode, Steven was very much unaware of whatever Mark was doing while he had control of the body. He would just wake up and he would be somewhere else.
Right.
But now it seems like they could, they're conscious of what the other person is doing, regardless of who has the body. I don't know when that changed, but there's definitely a shift that's happened.
You mean even when they started like talking with each other like that?
Yeah, because remember first episode, he would just go to sleep and wake up somewhere else.
Right.
Now Mark is literally punching him in the face for something that he's doing while he has control of the body. So it's like, okay, Mark can see Steven when he has control of the body. And clearly Steven can see Mark when he has control of the body, because in episode 2, I think it was, he was telling him to stop doing something and all of that other stuff. Yeah. But either way, they go into the tomb. Yeah. Leyla gets in there first, of course. And she's, drawing like little things on like in the dust and the sand.
That was something for her father, yeah.
Yeah, something for her father. She ends up disclosing after Steven like plummets into the entrance. So pretty much, they're following the tunnels, and they get to this room, right? And this room has, all of the pyramid, stuff, hieroglyphics on the wall. And I just wanted to applaud to Disney for keeping it, period accurate with the complexions on the pyramids on the wall. But well, that's enough for another story. For another day. But so they get in there, they're looking around for the clues. They see blood, like fresh blood. This isn't like old-timey dry blood.
No, Steven did that because she didn't see it. He said, this looks like fresh blood. And then there's bones. I love that because it was his way of saying, yeah, I think we shouldn't go any further than that. I really like that spot.
That's pretty much. She was like, okay, let's go down this hall. But he peeped more blood in the skeletons. He was like, okay, well, there's skeletons there. Let's see what other options we have here, right? So
sure.
They ended up climbing all around. He found like this other entrance or no other pathway up on this like other secret separate level. He calls down to Leyla, but just as he's about to call down to her, right, we get like shots ringing out in the distance. Like, so somebody's coming down the hall. So he's telling her, hey, hide. If I somewhere to hide, he's going to hide too. Yes. So, and by the way, I want to know that Leyla requested Mark show up for this excursion because she already knew that this was going to be some scary stuff.
She did. Yeah, no, she did. I did want to pick up, like, real quick, though. We were making the joke of saying how she was immediately turned off by that kiss. But I think she still found an interest in Steven. I did want to throw this out here because even though Steven is not the adventurous type, he was obviously amazed by the Egyptian, I say lifestyle, I can't find the right words, but, like the tombs and knowing everything about it. But if you look at her face, she had a gleam in her eyes. She was just
because she's turned on by his intelligence. That's what she likes about him. She likes his, honesty, his intelligence, but she likes that freaking, BDE energy from Mark. That's what she's trying to get away from, the BDE.
No, absolutely. Just throw me against the wall.
What
she likes about him is what lacks in Mark.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So probably it's not necessarily just him, it's just what she's comparing him to.
Mm-hmm.
No, for sure. And it's the same thing with Mark. She likes things about Mark.
Comparing him to Mark because she's consistently seeking Mark's approval, but not understanding that Mark is just trying to protect her. But then at the same time, she's on some Princess Jasmine on some like, I don't need protecting. Don't be making no decisions for me.
Yeah, she's strong, independent woman. She shows her how capable she is in this episode.
And her husband is just like, yo, come on, man. I'm trying to protect the flower. Let me live. Like, what?
He's trying to protect his secrets, low key too. Let's talk about it. But so he's telling Leyla to hide, and he's up in the loft somewhere, and she's down on the main level, and she hides behind the table that has all the blood and gunk on it, right? And we see from the tunnel that they almost went down. Had they listened to Leyla, they would have went down that tunnel and been, SOL. But anyway, a living person gets dragged into the room that they're in. It gets placed on that, sacrificial table. And it's like this mummified being that's doing this dragging. So it's like, for whatever reason,
I know certain, oh, okay.
Certain I guess dead bodies are animated. They're alive still, but only in this like tomb area. But what were we about to say?
No, I thought he was going to make a Squid Game reference because I was going to say like, yeah, this totally reminds me of Squid Game. But then when you said that, I was like, oh, never mind.
Oh, with the table would bring the dead bodies and so then.
Oh yeah, and it's
after 111.
Yeah.
Coming to take the
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it starts carving into the guy. We hear all the blood and guts and stuff. Meanwhile, Leyla's on the side of the table, trying not to be spotted, trying to be incognito, right? But this demon thing, this undead being, it senses something. It's sniffing around. It's making this noise, like trying.
It's like Jason's dog.
It hears something. So, they're cowering in fear. Steven's up on the loft, shaking and quivering, making all this fucking noise. Like, come on now, get it together, right? So the thing is hearing him. It's slowly crawling up, getting its way up to Steven. And that's what Leyla was like, look, I got to do something. I got to protect my man.
Yeah, my man. Not this guy, but my other man.
Yes. So she grabs like a little artifact from the floor, smashing it against the wall. Of course, it distracts the demon thing, but at this point, it sees Leyla. So Steven's like, run! He pushes something over the edge. Yeah, and he says that it hits it, but I swear it didn't hit it.
I don't think it did. Yeah, because he said, I squished it. He was so proud of himself, too. I squished it. I did it.
Yeah, but he definitely did not.
Yeah, no.
So either way, he said, hey, run, Leyla, I'll find you. So he ends up going through the entrance that he found through the loft, and Layla's running through the death tunnel, right, with the blood.
Oh, my God.
So it was after this that I believe that we're following Leyla, right? And Layla's running through these tombs, not knowing where to go. And she ends up, this is a really scary scene. She ends up walking. Go ahead.
No, I think she almost fell at first when she was running and whatnot, no?
Yeah, she almost fell because like a little hand came out and tried to grab her. And then as she's walking, like something like grabbed her in the shadows and like dragged her back. And I was like, this is some scary shots. This is some
No,
scary
it
video
actually
game
kind of
testing.
reminds me of episode 1. You remember when Moon Knight was first fighting that dog, and the dog was running for his life and stuff like that? Hey,
Happy 420.
Happy 420.
yes, happy
Get your
420.
edibles and your little gummies and the
We
little
drink over here. What's the
and the drinks and the THC drinks and the wine and the things, and I got Windex in my hand, but that's all right because it's
Oh, you're drinking Windex?
Yeah, so if you're watching, grab your alcohol and leave us a like. So yeah, it does pull her back into the shadows. She ends up like fighting her way back, and she's struggling with this little demon junk, right? Yeah. It's got like a bone protruding from its non-hand. It's like almost like a knife.
She ripped the hand off, so it's really just his bones.
And it's got the bone poking at her, right?
Like, yeah.
And for whatever reason, she's still got like one candlestick left.
I told you. It's like she had a pocket of these things because she just kept pulling them out like it was nothing.
Yes,
like
she pulled it out.
Yeah,
she pulled it out. Thank God she kept it though, because look. So she pulled out the little emergency candlestick. A little. I don't want to. It's not dynamite. It has a name, but I forget what it's like.
It's not TNT either. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's in case you're in danger, you pull it and it makes all these sparks. So she pulls it out, jams it into the thing's eye. It ends up, I guess being scared. I can't remember clearly what happens, but it goes away.
She puts it in his face, and then they're battling, and then they both fall off. They like tug. They have like a little tug of war. I mean, not tug of war, like a little tuggle, and then they both fall off the cliff.
Tussle.
Yeah, a little tussle. Thank you. They have a little tussle, and then you hear boom, and you would think, oh look, they both fell. But I gotta give it up to Leyla because not only was she like the superstar of this episode, what incredible upper body strength. Because I know the way she was hanging on to that. I would have just said, see you soon, Maker, because there was no way. First off, I wouldn't even be in there. I mean, just ever. But to see her pull herself up there, I said,
no way.
I would have slipped. I would have fell. I would have sat here and said, well, it was a good run. But she pulled herself up. I thought that was really incredible. And then that's
same. I wouldn't have been able to do it. Like, I don't know how she did it, but she's a warrior woman.
Yes, she is. She absolutely is. And that's what she has.
She pulls herself up. Then we get a voice talking about, oh, you handled that. I don't know what he said, but he was like admiring her work.
Lovely. Yeah, he has a way with words.
Yeah, and this is Arthur, by the way.
Arthur.
He comes from the shadows. But you did that. You handled that lovely or marvelously. And she was like, look, you don't gotta be so condescending, bro. And she tries to walk off. But then he pretty much, brings up, oh, I forget what he said. He's like, oh, you're going to see Mark, and pretty much holding something over her head. Like, I know something about Mark that you don't, pretty much. He was talking about her dad and how proud he would have been of her for, discovering this, yada, yada, yada.
He came out with the only bag of tea.
And so he's pretty much alluding whole time that, there's some connection between your dad and Mark that you don't know about. And she puts it together. She's like, look, I guess there's something you want to tell me, pretty much. Like, I know what, go ahead, like, stop dropping clues, bro. Just talk about it.
Just be honest.
And that's when he was like, no, that's when she was like, are you saying that Mark killed my dad? And he was like, I didn't say it, you did, being very just, pulling the strings, right? And that planted the seed in her head, like, okay, something's fishy going on. Flash to where Steven is. Steven gets into this this other room. And it's this whole tomb. It's got like a mummy encased in this big grand casket.
Alexander the Great.
Yeah, and that's who it ended up being, or who he assumed it was, Alexander the Great. And apparently Alexander the Great was avatar of a mutt, like back in the day.
A bit, yeah.
So he pushes the casket open. And we see the cat. We see like the mummy. And he was like, oh, and by the way, this is like, apparently there's no one knows where Alexander the Great is actually buried. So he was really excited, thinking, we found the hidden tomb of Alexander the Great, So they're like, okay, well, where would the statue be? Because they're looking for the little statue of a mutt where she would be, encased. And Steven puts it together. He's like, well, it'll have to be somewhere that, looters wouldn't look. And they discovered earlier that avatars are the voices of the gods. So he's like, okay, well, let me try something, right? So he ends up ripping off the mummy tissues from the mummy and cracks open his skull, right?
Oh.
And I looked away. I was
Oh,
eating
really?
at this time, and I didn't want to watch. I was eating my pot pie.
Oh.
Yeah.
My Marie Callender's pot pie, and I did not want to look.
Man.
So I did not. So, but I, assumed that he grabbed his hand in there, and Mark is like, telling him, yeah, go get it, go down.
Yeah, you heard him put it together. He's like, yeah, you can do it, buddy. Come on, buddy. Okay.
And he grabs the statue out, so he has it in his possession. Very excited to have found it. At that moment, Leyla comes in, and she is
Pissed.
like just upset. She is just angry. And she's looking at him like, Steven's like, oh yeah, we won, we got it, we got it. And she's like, can he hear me? And he's like, who, Alexander the Great? No. But she's talking to Mark. She's like, did you kill my father? What did you do to my dad? Yada, yada, yada. And Mark, he's so, I get not even ashamed. It's like, I guess when somebody finds out your secret, you're just like, oh crap, right? So he ends up taking control of the body. And as soon as he does, he's trying to rush Leyla away. Like, come on, we gotta go. We'll talk about this later. And Layla's like, no, we are talking about this now. And I feel her because, he's already escaped before. He's already, disappeared. You never know when you're going to ever get a chance to bring this up again. So we talking about this now, bruh. So,
Yeah, he's trying to do the okie doke.
yeah, exactly. Talk
time,
about it
like,
later and disappear.
He's trying to, like, if I were him, I would have been like, all right, let's talk on the way. Like, let's,
But she didn't want to hear that because he was trying to
get
do
in
that.
the car, let's talk on the way and have a conversation or something. Like,
But he was trying to do that.
No, he was like,
didn't
let's
do
talk
that.
about it later. And who knows when later would have came with that man.
But here's the
Later
truth,
would've
man.
been
Like, you
different.
can't be scared of what.
Huh?
Listen, man, you got to give women the benefit of the doubt of bad news. You know what I mean? You can't treat women like they're so delicate.
Facts.
That's the moral of the story. You know what I mean?
I'm glad she took her moment, even though it wasn't the most opportune time. But who knows with this nigga? She would have probably never got the chance ever again. So she said, look, you better tell me
Mark, Steven was strong enough to tell her the truth, but Mark was too soft. That's
facts. So she was like, did you kill my dad? And apparently he's like, no, I would never kill my dad, telling half truths and shit. She was like, oh, you didn't kill him, but you know who killed him. You was there.
Yeah.
And that's when he had to admit the whole truth, because he liked to tell these half truths, right? He had to tell her, like, yeah, I was there. I tried to protect him, but the guys that I was with got greedy and they ended up killing him, right? Yeah. And, she takes the news as, one would if you hear that, okay, this person's responsible, all that indirectly for her father's death. And that's when he was like, oh, yeah, I tried to make things right with you. And so apparently he killed her dad before they even met. And the whole reason he met her was because he killed her daddy. So I don't know if that was like she was part of the mission or what.
Right. No, I don't.
He was just guilty.
Yeah.
I mean, he just felt guilty and then boom.
So he tried to search her out because he felt guilty.
Just like the girl in in Hawkeye, the deaf girl.
Kate?
Oh no, you're talking about
the deaf girl that kicked everybody's ass.
Yeah.
That, like, she was raised by the kingpin because he
killed Echo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he killed her father, like that kind of whole situation. But then he ended up marrying the girl. Like,
yeah, that's weird.
That is a lot. Mark is kind of creepy. Is he still a daddy?
He's still a daddy. I don't know. Mark is. It's hard. Like, it's hard to get that daddy title taken away. But
yes, it is.
He
Ron, come on, Ron. Where's the corn?
So as they're discussing this, they hear in the distance. So Arthur's found them. He's got guns ablaze and he's got a whole crew. And seconds before he gets in there, he tells Leyla to go run, hide. He'll take care of it. And keep in mind, he no longer has access to Khonshu's power, so he's not indestructible anymore. Like if he gets shot or stabbed or anything, done. So, but you know what? That also brings a question: why does he no longer have access to Khonshu's power when Khonshu's in prison, but Arthur has access to Mut's power, even though she's been locked up for how many a century and a millennia? But anyway, you know, I digress. Doesn't make any sense, but you know, we'll continue.
Maybe it's in the cane.
I think it's totally the cane because I don't. I mean, we've never seen him get physical, so we don't know if he can. Because I get what you're saying. Like, does he have? But I don't think he has like that an ability where if he gets hit, he's not going to feel anything. Is that what you're trying to get at? Like,
no, but he does have that power where he can make people die. He weighs them on the scale, and if they're not worthy, they disintegrate.
Also, too, something I'm trying to remember here is that him and Khonshu used to be a thing. So I don't know if that stuff still remained with him. I don't know. For sure, but like that, there's that link right there. No,
but no, the power that he uses to like weigh people to see if they're worthy. That's from what? That's not from Khonshu. So why does he have access to those powers?
I feel like we're asking too many questions because there's still shit we're learning.
But he didn't explain that shit because it don't make no sense.
There's still shit that we're learning, and they still got us hooked, fiending to see the next episode. These people, but yeah.
Well, that's true. So, but in this moment, Mark does not have access to Moon Knight, no powers.
No.
So pretty much, Arthur comes in. He's like, "Yo, you got a decision to make here. You want to be loyal to this god who I once worked for? I told you was a bad guy, or you going to hand me over the statue or at least tell me what the fuck's going on, right?" And Mark was like, all right, this is when he pulls out the BB. He has like a little axe in his hand. He throws it against a couple people. He take out like a good 3-4 people, right? And that's when Arthur was like, I can only help people that want to help themselves. And
not once, too. Not even once either.
Yeah, twice, right in the chest.
Yes.
So, meanwhile, Layla's watching all of this from the corners, right?
Cherry.
So, yeah, he gets shot in the chest. Falls down to his death, like he's falling, fainting, falls into the water, and I'm like, "Dang, what a way to go in a forgotten tomb, forgotten, and nobody knows it."
Except the people who just witness your death, right? It's a terrible way to. You're having too much fun over there. See, like you're laughing pretty hard over there. Oh, you saw Vic falling there,
yes. His reenactment of the episode. So, yeah, he falls back into his death, and like it fades to black. But as it's fading to black, this is going to be really hard to describe. But it fades back into color, right? And we're transported to like this, what looks like a early late '90s sci-fi channel Discovery Jungle show, right? So we're we got like a little colored boy. I don't know if he's Egyptian, but he has some melanin, right? And this other older white guy who's they're dressed up in like jungle, like if you're exploring the jungle type gear, like very tan cameo type stuff. So, and during this thing, they're looking for like some kind of ancient statue or artifact. And as they're talking, and again, this is of course, it's giving very much old like '90s, jungle show. He's the white guy, he says his name is Steven, same first name and same last name as our very own gift shopist, right?
The shopist. And
I'm like, okay, does this mean that Mark is the original body and Steven was like some, creation of his in his mind? But as we're just getting used to this reality, right? It pans out and we're into this like white room. We see Donna all in white. Sitting down, Donna from the fucking museum. And we see a couple more familiar faces, and they're all in white in this white room, and it's giving like they're in like an insane asylum playing bingo. And we pan over and we see Mark, he's in a wheelchair looking at his reflection, barely can speak, like he's high off something, 420, like all drugged up. Now,
they did this on purpose.
Yeah, we also get a shot of Leyla. Layla's looking at him, talking about, oh, you got the bingo. She snatches his bingo card, like tries to take the winnings for herself. So, but he's not really phased about it. So he's looking at the reflection, trying to talk to Steven, trying to call Steven. He falls out the wheelchair. We get like a little action figure of Moon Knight, which I thought was interesting, that fell on the floor with him. I don't know if you guys saw that. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, some weird's going on here, right? He ends up being carted away off into the psychologist's, I guess, office, and it's real blurry. But you can tell this is Arthur's voice talking to him. He's like, hey, yeah, I've been there. Are you still hearing and seeing things? Pretty much trying to gaslight him.
Facts.
So as he's doing this, Mark is coming to he's starting to remember. He's like, you shot me. And Dr. Arthur.
He's more like
he's drugged up still. Yeah. And Dr. Arthur's like, you're still you're fighting these demons, pretty much trying to act like he's crazy. And Mark's coming up. He's like, no, you shot me. He ends up, getting himself together, running out of the room.
Drool.
Yeah.
With the drool and the little lip running out.
Fighting his way out. He finds himself into in the hall with another. He goes into a door. Keep in mind, like, everything's looking a little weird now. Things are swaying around. He escapes into a room, a white room, and he turns, and it's like a casket, like a mummy thing, right?
It was a tomb. Oh,
yeah, tomb. And it starts shaking. That's the room he was in. Vic and these visual aids, bruh.
Oh, I just noticed that. Oh, good job.
So yeah, this was the room that Mark was in, and he saw the two. And the two started shaking, and out pops Steven, right? Steven's like, Mark. And they embrace. So they're two separate bodies at this point, touching and talking to each other. And Mark asks Steven what's the last thing he remembers, and he remembers that Arthur shot them. So they have the same memories, right? So clearly, something's going on. So they try to escape, right? They're walking through the hallway again, the white hallway, trying to get away. And they're passing all of these doors. And it makes me wonder, are all of these doors personalities that Mark potentially has?
I was thinking about that too, but I was going to ask you, there was that one room, one room.
That had a tomb in it or had a casket in it, and it was shaking around. Somebody was trying to get out. So I'm thinking that these are all possibly his personalities. And one of them was, on the verge of coming out. But just before they pass that door, they go straight ahead to a door straight ahead. Next thing you know, it opens, swings open. And this fucking hippopotamus is on the other side. And it's like an Egyptian hippopotamus. And I have some theories about who the fuck this motherfucker is, right? So I'm thinking, because it looks big. If you look at our thumbnail, you'll see it. This is the hippopotamus I'm talking about, guys.
Yes. Not the hungry hippos.
Hungry hippos.
So high pitched.
With the high pitched voice. And I'm like, you know who that is, right? You know who that is, right? It's Arthur, the one that has a name like Arthur, but it's actually with the H at the front. The one who I said probably got like a little history with Kachu from the temple.
Oh,
yes, the one who believed him, the baddie, with the baddie avatar.
Facts.
That's her. I swear to God, that's her.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That could be one or two things: a reach or spot on.
That's who I think it is, because the high voice, the high feminine voice, the ancient Egyptian garb. This could be what she, what he imagines her as, as the avatar. So I'm thinking it has to be her.
That makes sense, because when I saw that, I was just like, "What?"
I know, right? I was confused. I was like, "Okay, who's this?
Why do you do this? At least give me 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes.
What the hell is going on?
To the next episode, But we gotta wait a week now. Shoe fly.
Facts. That was the end of the episode. What did you guys think of it?
It was fun. It was fun. In the beginning, it was just like, okay, what's going on? But then all of a sudden, there's blood on the floor, and then all of a sudden, we're finding Alexander the Great, and then all of a sudden, we're digging down the throat of Alexander the Great, and it's like okay, all right, and then all of a sudden, we just see a big hippo with a Mike Tyson effect. Yeah, what's going on here? But it's a good ride. I like it so far. It really is. I'm definitely, and I say that as a person that didn't know about Moon Knight, had no idea. and I'm enjoying it so far.
Nice. What about you, Jack? What did you think of the
That was
episode?
fun. This was a fun episode. It was wild. Like I saw it twice. So the beginning was really cool because it gave that adventurous like opening, and then towards the end, right there, I was sitting there saying this gave me to a less extent like WandaVision because I was sitting there saying, wait, how do we get here? Like what was going on here? So it does its job to make you intrigued and go like, oh, I can't wait to see what episode 5 is. So it did a great job. I thought it was a I thought it was a really fun episode. It was weird but fun.
Yeah, I liked the episode. It was very adventurous. I liked it better than the third episode for sure. And yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in episode 5. And if you are excited to see what happens in episode 5, don't forget to join us next week, same time, same place, for our wind down of that episode. And don't forget to like the video if you like the video. And also, if you are on Instagram, you should be following Unpopular Review so you could participate in our UPR battles that are going to happen tomorrow. So tomorrow we will be discussing
Yes.
who would win in a fight between Link from Zelda and Inuyasha from, of course, self-titled Inuyasha. So we're going to be talking about that on Instagram Live at 8 o'clock. Join us there or be square.
Don't be a square. Join us. It's going to be fun time, and I can't wait to be there. And you guys too.
Awesome. So thanks for watching. We will see you later, alligator, like Steven would say.
Later, Gator.
Later, Gator.